We welcome to the finish, Mike Mason.
All right, great run, Mike, from Stafford, Virginia. Way to go, Mike.
What is up, everyone? Happy Sunday. This is Coach Mike with TRC Performance Coaching. Conducted a poll on my Instagram at the Roaming Cyclist last week to do a video on my historic half race recap or on the Gen 7 Madone and Trek and why I don't ride that bike anymore and why I don't ride any Treks. But everybody voted for the historic half race recap, so let's get right into it. Coming into this race, I had mixed training. Last year at this time, I had a bike crash where my tire came off the wheel in a high-speed turn, and I fractured my pelvis on the left side in multiple places, hit my scapula, etc. It's still an issue. I have some residual imbalance, reciprocal inhibitions. My pelvis and hips don't freely rotate. They go up and down, but there's no kind of rotation. Now, my right one is rotating a little bit now, but my left one is locked, which causes overwork of my left hip flexor. So it's always knotted, always sore. And then that transverses down to my left knee where it pulls at my patella. So, that's all connected all the way up, to your back, right? So I tend to have a twist and then like kind of this right side rotation, but nothing's happening here except going back. And it causes my left foot to land behind me as I fatigue. And so, that kind of push off is causing some issues with my left hip flexor. So with that being said, the training has been mixed coming into the half. I did race a duathlon at Olympic distance in March. I did well. I came in second overall. I chose the wrong bike and I paid for it. It is what it is. So I knew I do have speed. I can run fast. It just degrades, which is frustrating considering that I'm known for running faster as the miles progress, not getting slower. So it's still a work in progress. I have a new physical therapist that seems to have a good plan, and we're going to unlock my hips. And I think once that happens, I think we'll get back to business. I have to focus when I'm on the bike, and when I run, I take these deep breaths to expand my diaphragm to try to get my body or my hip flexor and my QL to let go and let the proper muscles do their work, and that seems to be helping. As far as the historic half goes, my training, I capped the runs per week at 50 miles total. That's a lot lower than I would normally do it. I'd like to be 80 to 100. But taking into consideration everything happening, I didn't want to push any kind of injury, etc. So I capped it around 50. It was a blend of training where I did kind of a undulating periodization where a lot of my runs were hot and heavy and fast, and then less recovery runs, and then I would build on that and then recover harder and then recover. I've done that in the past, and it helps me get ready for a race in a short period, especially going from an Olympic distance to a half as a coach. That presents some challenges. Those distances are different, and to do those trainings at the same time presents some challenges, but it's not hard for me to do. A lot of my athletes do the same thing, and I plan the same program approach, just a little bit different because not everybody's able to take the load that I am. I'm a former elite, etc. Still, I don't know what I'm considered. I'm just out here having fun now and lucky to be alive. So going in the half, the week of, I did my normal, kind of training focus. All the runs were shorter. I did a longer run at the beginning of the week, and then my runs tapered down to kind of 20, 30 minutes, but they were fast to keep the tempo up and my mind focused on what I was going to do. The goal for the race was to run in an hour and 15 minutes. I had a bad race in December at Nationals in Daytona. And it is probably too soon to race. after what happened to me and all the issues and all the physical therapists that had failed to resolve it because they have like magic 8 balls, and I'm finding that it's a weird world. Anyways, that's going to be another video for another day. That half was like an hour and 29 minutes, and that is terrible. Even though it was hot on the speedway and I came in 5th, like that's terrible for me. I was frustrated with that. So I really, when I came back, I focused on strength. And I was doing that 3 times a week in the off season. I've come down a little bit to 2 times a week, but I have to be the timing and everything I have to be mindful of what I'm doing, because 2 times a week in season is a lot. This is my primary thing. Like I do train daily. That's all I do, and coach and bike fits and run gait analysis. So I plan my days based on that. But after a heavy weight session, a couple of days out, like today from Friday, my legs felt real heavy this morning on my run. So you have to be mindful when you're planning and programming that kind of stuff. So Saturday, went to get the race packet. I don't stay in expos. I don't walk around expos. I get in there, I get my packet, I get out. There's no reason other than adding fatigue to the day before a race on your legs, looking at all those boosts of useless nonsense, in my opinion, and clearance shoes from 3 years ago. It's a waste of time. It puts too much stress on your legs. You just got to get in and get out, and keep your mind on the goal. When we come to race morning at 2 a.m., I did increase my carbs a little bit. I only planned on being on the road for 75 minutes. So there wasn't like some crazy carb load that was occurring. I didn't feel like I needed to do that, nor have I really ever done that previously. I ran this race 7 years ago. I knew what I was getting into. It's a tough course. It's hilly. It's a quad burner, big hills. And you have to pick and choose your moments. So you need to have enough, stores to deal with that kind of challenge. But, there's no like, I'm sucking down pizzas and doing all that. No, that's a recipe for disaster. And it was going to be hot and humid. So there's a lot of variables that go into that. It's a little bit more carbs, a lot of hydration. And then the morning of at 2 a.m., I'm up. My MO is 2 white bagels with almond butter and apple butter. Now I ate both of those. I went back to sleep until 3:30. I woke up. My wife KT taped my shoulder back because my scapula is still having issues from the crash, and it likes to migrate forward and like up when I'm running, which is super annoying. So we KT tape it back. We found that helps with that scapular winging. Whether it's mental or not, whatever. But we left the house about 4:30. We got down there about 5. That's about an hour before. We parked relatively close and made the walk to the security checkpoint. At about 5:30, I used the bathroom a few times, as everyone does, and I put my shoes on and I started my warm up. 6 o'clock, the race starts. I'm right on the start line with the seated runners. I was not seated for this race. I didn't have a individual running time to provide them to do that, or else I think what occurred at mile 2 could have been prevented. But I didn't have a time. My races I run a half marathon after time trialing for 56 miles and after running 3 miles. So it's just like, pick and choose. What do you want? Right. I do it all in one race. So anyways, right off the bat, when we started, I was pretty frustrated with the pace. They were not, it was like 6:10. So I was frustrated with that. I was trying to get around that kind of traffic. I didn't want to burn too many matches early. But I kept shaking my head. I was frustrated with that pace. It was, my goal to be in an hour and 50, I have to be 5:40 to 5:50. But no more than 6:07, because the ultimate goal was no more than an hour and 20 minutes. You're not going to be out here longer than an hour and 20 minutes. But I wanted to hit that 1:15 to put that on the map. I'm running the Marine Corps Marathon in October, and I wanted that kind of knowledge that I can still move a 2.5 hour, 2 hour, 40-minute marathon. So we made the turn down count. I saw Fogel, who's an exceptional runner, halfway down the road, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to catch him today. So I was pretty frustrated. About mile 2, I started having that, I have to go to the bathroom. It's happened since the accident. It is what it is. So I have this mental battle, like, am I going to go to the bathroom? Am I not? And I chose to go to the bathroom. And I knew I was going to have to burn a lot of matches to get back up to that group because I was running in the top 12 at that point. I know because the Marine Corps running team was out there. And I was with 2 guys moving up with them. So I went to the bathroom, came out, and then that's when I went to work to get back up to that group. And I was 4:55, surging to try to get back up there, but then also mindful I don't want to burn a lot of matches. With me, I always carry a bottle of my own with Never Second, and this I had C90, which is 90 grams of carbs per scoop. And then I had 3 gels. One of them was a caffeine gel. Like I said, I don't need a lot of carbs during that, but I like to have that stuff. One, hydration, obviously, and then break in case of emergency, because it is a tough course. It's difficult. I did make it back up to the 2, and then I opened up on them because I didn't want to run that slow anymore. And that was about mile 3 that I caught them. From that point on, I was pretty much in no man's land. I didn't see anybody. I was, that's tough as a runner, no one to work with, and you're out there kind of on this tough course, battling as I started to have to do because my body started to do the twists and all those things. So from that point on, I pretty much averaged. It was kind of erratic, which is unusual. The course dictated a lot of the pace, but I was like 5:48, 5:42, 6:14. Like, it was all over the map. And as I came back, I didn't know exactly where I was. I knew I was ahead of a lot of people. There were 4,000 people at this race, but I didn't know exactly where I was at. So as I came through Fredericksburg and I started making those winds around along the river, I had consumed the liquid in my bottle because it was exceptionally humid and it was pulling I was drenched. And then I did, before I threw my bottle, which I always do, my wife gets frustrated with that, but you reach a point where you're like, I don't want to hold this anymore. So I did take the caffeine gel and 1 gel with me, and then threw the bottle, and then kind of went to work towards Hospital Hill. And I kind of was thinking, like, this is going to be terrible. That hill is terrible. It's like 8%. It's terrible. And it's a quad burner. On that hill, my left hip flexor started acting up. So I throttled down a little bit, to get up the hill. I could feel my form started kind of degrading, and I got up the hill, made the turn up, and then made the turn on to Cowan. And I saw number 10, the 10 dude. He must have fallen off the pace from the Marine Corps team. And so I tried to catch him, but I ran out of real estate. I came across the finish, running to finish strong, more for a mental thing. And I ended up 11th out of 4,000 overall, and I was the Masters champion. So I was one of however many in the Masters division, which I'll take. It was a tough course. My body's not really back yet, but I think I did well. I ran the final time in 1 hour and 20 minutes. So I'll take that for that. The shoes I chose for that race are the new Alpha Fly 3s. I did like them. The propulsion is exceptional. And they definitely are better than the Alpha 2s. The Alpha 2s, or that original, like, I could never run in those. There was something about those things that felt terrible on my feet. But I do like the Alpha 3s. I don't generally train in carbon. I train in flats or Pegasus, or I like to save that carbon for, speed work, short speed work, breaking them in, and then race day. That's it. And I don't unnecessarily walk around in them. I have flip-flops. I've changed in and out of them, and we keep it moving. If you have any questions about the race that I missed here, or any questions about anything, you can put a comment down below. My Instagram is @theroamingcyclist. If you're interested in coaching, I'll have all that information down below. That's triathlon, cycling, and running, all distances. For all of those, if you're planning on running this race again next year, reach out to me and I'll help coach you to the best time that you've done on that course. That's going to be it for me. I'm trying to keep this video short for once for everybody. I'm Coach Mike, and I'm out.